Vanessa Mitchell had not slept in 3 days. She sat outside the operating room doors, jumping up every time a nurse or doctor walked past, because somewhere behind those doors, her 12-year-old son Caleb was fighting for his life. A drunk driver had hit their car 3 nights earlier on a rainy back road, and the impact had torn into Caleb's liver. Now her son was running out of time, and Vanessa was running out of options. Mrs. Mitchell. Dr. Reynolds stepped out, clipboard in hand, her face grim. "We need to talk about Caleb." Vanessa's legs nearly gave out. "Is he getting worse?" "I'm afraid so." The doctor led her into a small consultation room. The internal bleeding damaged his liver beyond repair. He needs a transplant. Soon. How soon? Days. Maybe a week, if we're lucky. Vanessa's mind raced. "I read that a living donor can give part of their liver and it grows back. Test me, please." Within hours, Vanessa was in a hospital bed herself, giving blood, praying she'd be the answer. She barely left her son's side as the tests ran, watching his skin turn a deepening yellow, listening to the monitors that tracked every shallow breath. His father, Jack, would have known what to do, except Jack had vanished 3 years ago, leaving Vanessa to raise their son alone while he started a new life with his 20-something assistant. He'd taken a job in Dubai, he said. He barely called. When Caleb woke up, frightened, asking if the doctors were going to fix him, Vanessa squeezed his hand and lied with a smile. "You bet they are. Buddy, and guess what? They're testing me right now to see if I can give you part of my liver." "Like inside me?" His eyes went wide. "That's kind of gross, Mom." She laughed despite everything. "Yeah, that's what moms do." Then Dr. Reynolds came back, and the look on her face told Vanessa everything before she said a word. "You're not a compatible donor. Your tissue typing shows markers that would cause rejection. There has to be someone else," Vanessa begged. "My sister? His father's family. We can test them. But Caleb's blood and tissue markers are unusually rare. It looks like he inherited them from his father's side." "His father is unreachable," Vanessa said bitterly. "Dubai, last I heard." Over the next 2 days, Vanessa's sister and 2 cousins were tested, all incompatible. Caleb grew weaker, drifting in and out of confused, exhausted sleep. And then, standing in line for vending machine coffee, Vanessa overheard 2 nurses talking about the hospital's upcoming charity gala, and one name stopped her cold. Jackson Hayes, CEO of Meridian Pharmaceuticals. Dr. Reynolds has been working on him for months to fund the new children's wing. Hayes, not Mitchell. It hit her like a wave. Jack had changed his last name after the divorce, back to his mother's maiden name. He'd said, for his career. She thought it was just one more cruelty at the time. Now it explained everything. Jack wasn't in Dubai. He hadn't been in over a year. He'd been right here in town, building an empire while his son didn't even know his name. Vanessa found the charge nurse with shaking hands. "When is Mr. Hayes coming in?" "Tonight, actually. He's got a walk through with administration in an hour." She called Dr. Reynolds immediately. "I think I know who might be a match for Caleb. His father, Jackson Hayes." A long, stunned silence. "The CEO of Meridian is Caleb's father? We were married 13 years. He changed his name after the divorce. I'll handle this discreetly," Dr. Reynolds said. An hour later, a soft knock came at Caleb's door, and Jackson Hayes walked in, silver at his temples now, sharper suit, the same confident posture. But his face drained of color the instant he saw the boy in the hospital bed. "You said it was urgent, but you didn't say..." His eyes moved from Caleb to Vanessa. "Caleb needs a liver transplant immediately," Dr. Reynolds said. "You might be his only hope as a living donor." "There are no other matches," Vanessa said, rising. "He has a rare combination of markers. He needs this or he'll die. You might be the only one who can save him." Jackson looked at his son, really looked at him, for what felt like the first time in years. Then he turned to the doctor. "Test me, whatever it takes. Now." The results came back fast, faster than usual, whether because of Dr. Reynolds' urgency or Jackson's name on the chart. While they waited, Vanessa sat in the cafeteria with a nurse named Lisa, who'd noticed how exhausted she looked. Honestly, 3 days ago, my biggest worry was Caleb's math test, Vanessa admitted. Now I'm sitting across a table from the man who left us, hoping he can save our son. That must have been so hard, Lisa said gently. On both of you. He sends checks, more than required, but he hasn't seen Caleb in 3 years. Not even his birthday. Vanessa's voice cracked. Caleb used to wait by the window on the days Jack promised to call. Eventually, he just stopped asking. After Lisa left, Vanessa sat alone with the memories. College sweethearts, young marriage, a happy decade with a husband who coached Little League and made Sunday pancakes, until promotion changed him into someone she didn't recognize. The late nights, the distance, the text messages from his assistant that confirmed what she already feared. She was still lost in it when she spotted Jackson and Dr. Reynolds deep in conversation down the hall, and Jackson's face had gone ashen. What's happened? Vanessa demanded. We were just discussing results, Dr. Reynolds said carefully. Is he a match? Yes, Jackson said, but there's a complication. In consultation room, Dr. Reynolds explained. Jackson was compatible, but routine screening had turned up elevated liver enzymes. Early-stage non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. NASH, a fatty liver disease that made him ineligible to donate. The hope Vanessa had been clinging to shattered all over again. So we're back to nothing. Not quite, Dr. Reynolds said. There's an experimental option, a bone marrow transplant, to support his immune system while we keep searching for a liver donor. It could buy him weeks, maybe months. It's not a cure, Jackson said quietly, but it's something I can actually do. For the first time in years, Vanessa heard something real underneath his words. The man who used to cry holding newborn Caleb, not the man who'd walked away. They moved fast. That night, Caleb told his mother, wide awake for the first time in days. Dad was here. He said staying away was the biggest mistake of his life. Then, quieter, is Dad sick too? I heard the nurses talking. Trust a 12-year-old to hear everything, Vanessa murmured, smoothing his hair. He's going to be fine. Let's focus on you. Her sister Diane arrived with soup and fresh clothes and nearly dropped both when she heard the news. Jackson Hayes is your Jack, and he's helping. It's complicated, Vanessa said. But for the first time since the accident, she felt something like hope. At 7 the next morning, Vanessa and Jackson sat across from Dr. Reynolds, who brought in a hematologist, Dr. Mason, to deliver the bone marrow results. Jackson, in jeans and a sweater instead of a suit, looked like he hadn't slept either. There's no easy way to say this, Dr. Mason began. The HLA typing shows you're not a bone marrow match for Caleb. In fact, there's less than a 1% chance you are his biological father. The room went silent. Vanessa felt the floor tilt beneath her. That's impossible. Is there something you need to tell me? Jackson's voice had gone cold. No, never, Jack. You know I wouldn't. Dr. Reynolds raised a hand before it could spiral further. There are other explanations, rare genetic conditions, lab errors. But we've double-checked. Mrs. Mitchell, was Caleb conceived naturally or through any fertility treatment? And then Vanessa remembered. The 2 years of trying, Jack's low sperm count, the procedure at Riverside Fertility Clinic, a clinic that had quietly closed years later amid allegations of mixed-up samples. The investigation cut short before it ever finished. If we could find a biological father, Dr. Reynolds said gently, he might be a match. Then we find him, Jackson said, already standing. I have contacts at the State Health Department. I don't care what records are sealed. My son is dying. It took less than 2 hours for the records to surface. When Jackson got the call, his face went through hope, confusion, and shock in the span of a single phone call. He hung up and turned to Vanessa, hollow-voiced. William Pearson, he said, the founder of Meridian, my mentor, the man who hired me 15 years ago and groomed me to run the company. He paused. He has NASH too. It runs in his family. That's the whole reason he started the company, to research liver disease. William Pearson arrived within 2 hours. 72 years old, broad-shouldered, full head of silver hair, and eyes the same startling blue as Caleb's. He'd banked samples at Riverside 2 decades earlier, after his wife's miscarriages, before she passed away, and he never went back for them. He'd assumed they were destroyed long ago. If there's any chance I can help him, William said, I want to do it. He was a match, blood type and tissue markers both. But his own NASH raised the stakes. A harder recovery for him, and some risk that what he donated wouldn't be fully healthy tissue for Caleb. Still, with the transplant list offering nothing but more waiting, William didn't hesitate. It's not really a choice, is it? He said. I've lived a full life. That boy deserves to live his. When Vanessa explained it to Caleb, gently, carefully, her son asked the question that mattered most. Do I have to call him Dad now? No, she told him. You don't have to call him anything. This doesn't change who your family is. Caleb asked to meet him before surgery. William came in nervous despite his commanding presence. And within minutes the two of them were trading jokes about lizard tails and liver regeneration like they'd known each other for years. Outside in the hallway, Jackson watched them together, something unreadable on his face. The resemblance is striking, he admitted to Vanessa. Then quieter, after this is over, I'd like to be part of his life again, if you're both open to it. Why now, Jack? Guilt, partly, but it's more than that. Biology or not, I was there when he was born. I taught him to ride a bike. I don't want to miss any more of his life because I was a coward. Surgery was scheduled for the next morning. Vanessa and Jackson walked beside Caleb's gurney as far as the doors would allow, both bending down to kiss his forehead. See you soon, buddy, Jackson whispered. We'll be right here. 9 hours later, Dr. Reynolds emerged, exhausted but smiling. Both surgeries went well. Mr. Pearson is stable. Caleb's body is accepting the new tissue so far. The relief nearly knocked Vanessa off her feet. 3 weeks later, Caleb sat up in his hospital bed, color back in his cheeks, laughing as he argued baseball statistics with both the men in his life. Jackson, the father who raised him, and William, the man he'd started calling Mr. P. The new liver was holding strong. No signs of rejection. William's own recovery, fueled by something that looked a lot like purpose, was ahead of schedule too. Mom, settle this, Caleb called out. Dad says the Yankees are overrated. Mr. P says they're the best franchise in history. Vanessa laughed and took the seat beside Jackson, their shoulders brushing. There was still a long road ahead. Still hurt to work through. Still a complicated new shape to their family to figure out. But watching her son argue baseball with two men who had each, in their own way, given him life, Vanessa felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Because sometimes a family isn't only the one you're born into. Sometimes it's the one that shows up, broken, imperfect, and trying when it matters most.